Here is the World on Water's 35th America's Cup report.
Keep it clean and don't let it come into the umpire's hands at all.
Man, the sun's out, boats will be foiling. What could you not like now?
Clear start.
Race 1, a grudge repeat of yesterday's controversial match with Artemis looking for revenge. The Kiwis got it wrong early on, and on their slower light wind foils, the Swedes were slowly reeled in. At the end of leg 5, the Kiwis overtook. And that was game over. 2-0 to Emirates Team New Zealand in their battles with Artemis Racing. Race 2 was won before the boats even crossed the start line. Oracle Team USA won the pre-race duel and with the faster boat could never be caught. But as the French were penalised for going out of play, the Americans had technical problems.
We got 15 seconds.
But they nursed the boat home for their 5th win from 6. Final race, textbook start for the British against the Swedes. Land Rover BAR were in control.
Okay, here we go.
2 race victories overall, both against Artemis.
Nice work, guys.
I think this is a bit of a ley line call. Look at that. Wow. Oh, they got very... They'll do a split here.
Tough day. We had a forecast that had it quite a bit lighter than what it ended up being, and so we had light wind boards in today, which made it quite tough because it was off and around 14-15 knots of breeze. And the race against Team New Zealand, we did a really good job in the start and managed to get away. But as you would have seen, they reeled us in pretty quickly. They had similar boards in, I think the same boards as what they had in yesterday, and were going quite quick, and we just couldn't match them for pace.
This might be very close.
And they've become very well acquainted with each other, haven't they, these two, in the last couple of days.
We're going to see a button pushed right there.
Right now, Sabine around the outside, and both of them away clean, and Land Rover BAR have just sneaked in front.
Well, it's always hard to come back to the dock with 2 losses, obviously, and we need to have a little sit down. Well, a sit down tonight and go through the races in detail and look at what we can do better. And fortunately, we have 2 days off now to really regroup and come back strong for the weekend.
They'll do a split here. They jibed early in order to do a nice split, and they're going to be able to go up winning their own clearance,
of course, through the America's Cup.
I think it's good to take a break. We've been doing so well for so many months, and this is nothing like what we're expecting as a team. We have higher standards of ourselves, and with a couple of days off, we should be able to just revisit how we're sailing the boat, and hopefully we can make some modifications to the boat, because I think there's still a bit left in the tank, and we need to get the most performance out of the boat we can.
This is the start of the business day for Peter and Blair, and it's not a bad way to start it, eh?
Not bad at all, especially on mornings like this.
Out on the Sound in Bermuda with Blair, about to scoot into work. Knowing you lot, this would normally be a competition, is it?
Yeah, normally he's probably a little bit faster than us today. But we've got a good prop on, so it doesn't matter.
Lucky to be able to
Safer.
Safer, yeah, that's...
You're a pretty precious commodity, you boys. Of course, the main reason for the boys coming by boat is that it's reckoned here in Bermuda to be a lot safer than going on a scooter. That's probably a matter of opinion, but I guess the most important thing is that you are meant to have fun in these things. It's meant to be good for the sailors. It helps them with their preparation, and in that case, they're preparing well.
Yeah, see you guys.
I'm really happy to be able to pull it back in that race.
What a race, what a tension in the medal race, and what a win.
Yeah, real close race, and I'm really happy to be able to pull it back in that race. I had a pretty shaky first lap, but good last 2 laps and good speed to pull it back. So I'm really happy.
A nice win here in Medemblik.
Yeah, the Medemblik weather's really turned it on for us. We've had a great week. We've got a full series, uncharacteristically warm, I believe, but of the 3 I've done, this has been really good conditions, and look forward to coming back.
And a really consistent week for you. I can imagine you're happy.
Yeah, no, I sail really well. Net points, I managed to keep all my scores, what would have been in single figures this week until the last race today, where a tactical reason meant I wasn't. But really happy, sailing really well at the minute, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
I have handpicked the crew to compete as Team AskoNobel in the Volvo Ocean Race.
Resilience,
commitment, determination, passion,
teamwork, persistence,
patience,
focus.
At the moment we are in the Persico Marine Boatyard. And we're sitting on boat number 8, which is going to be Team AskoNobel boat in hopefully 2 months' time. These boats are completely one design, which is quite special for a 65 feet racing boat. They're a high performance boat. They were designed to last 2 races. If there is an advantage, it's more of a psychological advantage, because everything in the build as well is exactly done how it was done to the last boats. And even if there were modifications to the fleet in the last race, they are being done in the same order to this boat as well during the build. We have another 22 days here in Persico. You see the deck now is still bare carbon. Pretty quickly they will sand the deck and undercoat it. And then when the whole boat is undercoated, then she will be transported to Lisbon, and she will get the same treatment through the Lisbon boatyard like all the other 7 boats. And hopefully we can bring her back home to the Netherlands, where she will be officially christened. It's not guys rocking up, playing on a field for 2 hours and then going home. We are not only sharing the end results, but even more important, sometimes our lives. And the race itself is probably the biggest sporting challenge there is in the world. I mean, it's a marathon, it's an endurance race of 9 months long, and everyone is always focusing on the race, but it's also the pre-race. Every win is unique, and winning is very scarce. I mean, you don't win easily in life. It's something you learn and you get inspired from. And the other thing on these boats are the trust level has to be huge. And it comes with that ambition, and you inspire other people. But then at that same moment, they inspire you. It's what it's all about, right?
Part of the prototype development is that we should test the boat firmly. We've had a few failures, just got to work through that.
All right, we're going along, it's all terrific, and then, you know, you come across onto the starboard deck, you're going along beautifully, and...
Yeah, we have had some issues with the daggerboard system. That's the inside of the left-hand daggerboard. So as we were going upwind, the push rod basically pulled the pin out of the carbon fibre. So obviously significant load.
Yeah, so the pin's basically blown out the inside.
This is a very significant part, but it's a small part that we can take on and off the boat, so we can fix it in a short turnaround.
You know, we need to redesign this now and go back out there and push it a little harder.
No doubt, more challenges on the way, but overall you have to say the machine is in wonderful shape and the project is right where we want it to be. About to fly. In our last report, we were in this situation where the machine was getting up and going and then falling down onto that windward float. So Jacko, what's now is the experience of driving the vessel?
Bloody fantastic, really. It's like flying a plane a couple of metres off the water. Once you're up and flying, it's quite silent and peaceful, but also terrifying at the same time. You're going double as fast as what you'd normally be doing, and you know you've got the bow sort of angled at the water, and you know there's an unknown element to it because we're so new to it all. But it's thrilling.
And the difference between how she was and how she now is?
The faith in the foils is there now, so you can actually feel the foils doing what they were meant to do. It allows us to push the boat harder and have the confidence in the machine.
Yeah, back her off a little.
Just through some simple changes, simple sailing, boat changes, we found a much better balance.
Ewan, give us a readout on the performance of the vessel. What speed she's doing, in what strength of breeze, and how you're seeing that all develop.
I'll be lying to you if I said we didn't have some nervous moments in the first 10 hours of sailing, but we got the boat performing at a really high level, considering we've been out on the water for 12 days. So we got the boat doing 31 knots, a lot of averages in the high 20s. We definitely were sailing around in 10 to 12 knots. That, the consistency of the speed in the upper 20s and that breeze strength is really, really impressive.
Does she feel safe? Does she feel secure? Does she feel balanced? Do you feel like you can go faster?
The shape and inherent stability in the board is now more apparent than what we had in the first 10 sails. So it basically means we can push harder and get the guys out on the trapeze earlier, and you know, we'll be climbing up into higher speeds, you know, in the near future.
Pretty shifty out there at the moment.
A lot of blood, sweat and tears.
It's 100% ready for racing.
First race of the day, first shock of the 35th America's Cup. Yesterday's double losers were in better shape. Once ahead of the Swedes, the French held on and won the drag race to the finish line. Artemis did get a win later on against Oracle Team USA. Former teammates head-to-head in race 2, Ben Ainsley with a repaired boat beat Jimmy Spithill at the start. It was cat and mouse up leg 3, but the Americans won the tactics. The Brits lost it round the mark. Oracle Team USA took their first of 2 wins of the day, also beating Team Japan. Crunch match between Kiwis, with Dean Barker leading the Japanese against his old team. Neck and neck till leg 5, when Emirates Team New Zealand crossed to take the lead. Job done. Race 1, and they then followed it up by beating Land Rover BAR.
Yeah, really excited about a little bit more breeze today.
I'm sure there'll be a good little fight.
Should be a good show for you.
A battle between strugglers to kick us off. The British waved the French goodbye across the start line, but both boats were flying. Crunch time at gate 3. The French were audacious. Au revoir les Brits. From write-offs to comeback kids, Groupama Team France won it by 53 seconds. Hold on to your hats for this one. Bad start for Artemis, over the line early, penalty. 9 lead changes, edge of the seat stuff. Kiwis and Swedes closing at a combined speed of 100 kilometres per hour. Final mark, Artemis blast past and head to the finish line. Winners, surely. But penalty, said the umpires. Illegal passing manoeuvre. Quite right, said New Zealand. Artemis were furious.
Absolute joke.
It was a reality check for Groupama Team France. Veteran Dean Barker won the start for Japan and held that lead to the end.
Today is the bringing together of a lot of effort from a lot of people, and I think it's important to recognise a number of VIPs. So I just want to go through, we've got a list of people who have contributed and helped for today, and it's important to recognise them. Obviously this is a great collaboration between Southport Yacht Club and Australian Sailing. It is important also that I recognise, if you like, I call him, he's the architect of our golden era of sailing, and that's Peter Condy, who I'm going to call to the microphone. Peter himself, a renowned sailor, he was on the podium for lasers and etchels in his time. I know it was last century, Peter, but we won't let that get in the way of a good story. And he's a man who did a lot of deep thinking. He came from a professional services background about what Australian sailing needed to be successful. And unlike KFC and 6 Herbs and Spices, the secret ingredients for sailing requires about 20 to 25 things to work in a certain way. And Peter, the way you've constructed that over the last decade, nearly a decade now, is memorable. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Peter Condy to say a few words.
Thanks, John. Probably more kind words than I really deserve there. You know, when it really comes down to it, designing a program for sailing was really about pulling together the thoughts and insights of a lot of people, sailors, coaches, etc., who knew a hell of a lot more than I did. So I wouldn't take nearly as much credit for that as John mentioned just there. But today's a really important day for us on the road to winning medals for sailing and for Australia in Tokyo. It's a really important day for us in terms of our focus on our women's program in all of our classes, but particularly today in our 470s. And it's an important day in terms of the development of good linkages between our program and the grassroots and at this club in particular, and I'm sure Matt will probably talk a little bit about that later on.
You know, for me, this really started as a dream.
you know, I'm really proud to actually be standing in front of you today to see this almost finished structure and what it represents for not only the Australian sailing but the Southport Yacht Club, the Southeast sailing community. It's been a lot of work, a lot of effort. You know, without Australian sailing support and their trust to expand outside of Sydney. It's a great sign for the success of our sport, but also the trust in our country.
Don't copy this too close. This is my signature for my credit card, right?
That's right, mate. You know, you've been there from the beginning for me on the sail of this club. I've always been a Gold Coast boy. I never really liked to go down to Sydney. And to come up here and to do what I love and to have the opportunity that I've had to come back and to have this structure here, it's you know, it's an amazing feeling for me. And I know that, you know, for the class going forward, the 470, we've had a lot of success in the past. We've got a great opportunity now to merge the men and women's program. We've got some amazing talent standing behind me, standing in front of me, that are coming through and are the future of our sport. For you, you know, this facility is for you. Enjoy it. Working together and really just continue the 470 legacy, and hopefully this represents a few more medals in 3 years' time. So a lot of the guys, you know, I guess particularly Victor and for Will, for their support to come up here, a lot of time away from their family and friends, to show the support for me. I can't thank you enough for that. You know, there's a lot of you. You know, this is really a community project. A lot of you are here today that had to twist your arm to get it done. I know Greg and Gavin did the design. We've got Grant. There's too many to really announce, but thank you so much for your help. You can see all the work that's going to pay off. To the squad performance kids that are standing in front here, for me now to be able to train at home means I have a little bit more time to invest with the club and their performance program, and to see these kids aged from 7 to 13 you know, being involved, seeing us train out on the water and their passion. You know, good luck with your sailing, but thank you to everyone involved, and I really look forward to getting back on the water, hopefully spend a bit more time to finish this and get on with the job. But thanks again for the support. There we go.
Pretend.
2, 3. Yeah.